I think we left off my mentioning that the Audis made nice furniture, which is true. The difference is just the time frame of people, and you could say, more modern times, more machine, less handwork. Why? Oh, it's the Industrial Revolution continuing, expanding. I mean, the philosophy of construction changes based on the equipment necessary or available to build something. So if you go on a fine woodworking program, and they're using hand tools, and it's very romantic. It's very nice. It is. That's what drew me to it. It was a hands-on opportunity. His philosophy of all I can, if I can, or the best I can, depending on how you want to translate, all I can. To me, it was all I can. He was offering his cost. This is our kitchen countertop, by the way, guys. Not a shop anymore. And he was offering something that he felt was the best that he could make with what he had. And there's an old story of him throwing a piece of furniture out of the Burnett Ave factory, the original factory, well, the predominantly original factory. I mean, what's original? It was the Burnett Ave factory. And he threw a chair out the window. And the workers were Europeans. They were Polish, they were Italian, they were Germans. They might have been Russians. They were Europeans. And he stood. And the story is, you like to think this is true only because I worked with people that had worked with him. When I was 19, I was still working with old men that had worked with the old man as youths. And he, Tony, felt Gus was very arrogant to have done this. He threw the piece of furniture out the window and turned and looked at the employees, and he said, there'll be no seconds. There'll be nothing but the best effort. And I always felt that was brutal. You would tremble as one of his workmen. But on the other hand, it was a good example of what he felt he wanted you to do, your best work. Today, nobody would do that. You're insulting your workers. You would sell it as a second. And there's a bunch of people in Syracuse that have furniture sales. And they drop the price 30, 40% for you to buy, seconds. Which is good. It's good business. It is. We never got an opportunity to do that. When we built a piece, if I didn't like the way it came out, we just built the piece again. It was no other way. Today, the philosophy is somewhat different. It has to be. What are you going to do with things that, are not class 1? You sell them as class 2 and people buy them, which is fine. They get a deal, they get something, and it's better than nothing. But I don't know if that's really true. Maybe nothing might be better for somebody, and they would continue to search and look and try to find a craftsman, a guy, a woman, a person, a group that worked with their hands and shared their philosophy with you. I'm getting the talk, and shut up, and I think we're signing off. This chair will be on eBay as an illustration for the polish, an example. Actually, in the end, I don't want the chair. I shouldn't say that, but I don't really want it. I didn't want it to begin with. I wanted it to do what I did, and then I don't want it anymore. I don't have little kids anymore. I have grandchildren that are beyond this chair, and I'm not thinking of great-grandchildren, so let's not go there. So I don't know. If somebody wanted it, I'd probably sell it with the idea they'd have to come and get it. I'm not going to box the little bugger. We're not a shop anymore. So it would have to be somebody that's willing to travel into Syracuse. You could stop at Stickley. You could stop at the Stickley house, Gus's house. It's not really Gus's house, it's his mother's. And, it would be an adventure. I like it, and I'm not done. When I'm done with this, I'm not going to coat it. if I were going to coat it, I would make the coat. It would be a blending of different materials that were available in the beginning of the 20th century, and I would not want it to look like I did it, so there would be very extraordinarily light coat on it. And I probably won't do it, and I won't do it. And the reason I won't, it's an old chair. I like the fact that it's old. I like the fact that kids' hands had worn it. It's romantic. It's clean now, though. And I haven't adulterated the color line of his work. That was not my intention. I haven't hurt the leather. Sotheby's used to buy this. Eric Silver called me one day and said, "You make the greatest furniture polish for arts and crafts furniture." And I said, "Eric, do you use that on anything else?" He said, "No, it's made for that." And I laughed. Never laugh at somebody like Eric Silver, the guy that's on the antique show. He didn't like me anymore. He couldn't understand that a finish is a finish, and that he could use it on 19th century, 18th century lacquer, shellac, French polish, on basically anything with a finish. But always try, always test, because nobody today seems to tell the truth. So always test in an innocuous place something. The other reason I did this, by the way, is a guy found our ad for the polish on eBay the first day or so. And he said, he emailed me a bunch of times. And I said, I think we make what you really are looking for. And I'm not a salesman, so that's, hey guy, you want it or not? And he said, oh, on an original Gustav finish, I don't put anything. And then I'm thinking, well, is this guy now, is he using a wet rag, as I guess people making furniture now suggest, a damp rag, and a dry cloth like a bar? And I thought maybe he'd see this. I've got his email somewhere, but it'd take a lot for me to want to do that. Don't tell me not to spin it on the stone. So I think on that note, we'll put this up in a few days and kind of bear with us. We're not salespeople. So we're trying actually to sell polish because of an ad or a statement that you should clean your furniture with water. And when I read it, I said to my wife, are we crazy? I mean, these pieces don't like water. I mean, shellac does not like water. None of these things like water. And you could say, well, it's just a damp cloth. Yeah. Well, what's damp to you? What's damp to me? I think I got to wring it out once. You think you got to wring it out 10 times. Which one of us is right? On that happy note, this has been Fun with Flags, or Fun with Gustav Stickley's high chair and the Craftsman furniture dressing. You can find us on eBay. I think it's $26, something like that, with us picking up the shipping. So we're not making a fortune on you, but we're hoping to make you a friend of the dressing and hoping you introduce it to somebody else. Because we are really, I guess still are, a group of artisans. This was not a factory. Here, pan that piece, please. The piece is a takeoff from Margaret MacDonald's Mayflower Queen. All of that is inlaid and overlaid. It's stained glass, it's brass, it's copper, it's aluminum. It's the work of artisans. It's the work to give a woman a pantry in the city of Watertown. When I designed the kitchen, I designed this as something that's freestanding, because I design your kitchen and you leave me. You sell the house and I'm gone.